Thanks for joining Let's Science with Dr. Jeks. In this video, we are looking at revision for the topic numbers. We shall begin by looking at the topic square numbers and square roots. What is a square number? A square number is a product of a number that has been multiplied by itself, or if you multiply a number by itself twice. So for example, if your number is n, then your square would be n squared. First square numbers include 1, 4, 9, 16, and 25 because they are obtained as a result of multiplying the first 5 numbers by themselves. On the other hand, we have what we call a square root. A square root now is that number which when multiplied by itself gives the square. For example, if your square number is n squared, then the square root of n squared would be plus or minus n. Why plus or minus? If you know from directed numbers, 1 times 1 gives us positive 1, but negative 1 times negative 1 also gives us positive 1. The square root of any number has got both a positive root and a negative root. Take note that calculators only show the positive root. When you are writing your answer in the exam, you will need to show also the negative root. In summary, the number is read as 7 squared if you are looking at square numbers, and when you are reading from backwards, you say the square root of 49 is positive or negative 7. Now let's move on to cube numbers and cube roots. A cube number is a number that has been multiplied by itself 3 times or thrice. The cube is obtained as a result of multiplying itself thrice. If your original number is n, if you multiply it by itself 3 times, you are going to get n cubed. So n cubed is the cube number there. For example, the first cube numbers are 1, 8, 27, 64, 125. These are the first 5 cube numbers which are obtained as a result of cubing 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. On the other hand, we have what we call a cube root. It's represented by this sign with a 3. The cube root is the number that when you cube it gives the cube. For example, if our original number is 27, the number which you multiply by itself 3 times to give you 27, that is called the cube root. For example, the cube root of 343 is 7, because if we multiply 7 by itself 3 times, we get 343. In summary, the number is read as 5 cubed, or 5 to the power 3, gives us 125. The cube root of 125 is that radical sign with the 3 there of 125 gives us positive 5. A thing to note here is that the cube root of a positive number or the cubed number is positive, then the cube root is also positive. If the cubed number is negative, then the root is also negative. Let's look at other powers and roots. A power in general, which can also call an index or a plural indices, or an exponent, shows how many times the base is multiplied by itself. 5 to the power 4 shows that the base 5 is multiplied by the power 4 or to the power of 4, and the answer is 625. What it means is 5 is being multiplied by itself 4 times to get 625. So it's 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. 2 to the power 7 means 2 is the base, the exponent is 7. So 2 is being raised to the power of 7, or 2 is being multiplied by itself 7 times to get 128. So it's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, and you get 128. Let's look at other roots outside of 2 and 3. There are other roots like roots with 4 and 5 and 6, etc. If you are given something like this, 243 with that root sign and then there's a 5, it means you are looking for the 5th root of 243. What are we looking for? We are looking for a number that when you multiply it by itself 5 times gives you 243. That number is 3. So 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 gives you 243. So 3 is the 5th root of 243. Another way you could find the 5th root of 243 is to break it down into the product of its prime factors. You'll notice that 3 is the smallest prime factor, and if you keep dividing by 3, you get 5 threes. You can also have 6th roots, 7th roots, 8th roots, etc., etc. A thing to note here is that in index notation, the base is the number which is being multiplied by itself, and the exponent or power or index shows how many times the number or the base is being multiplied by itself. You can do yourself well to remember those terms, base and index. When we look at indices, this will be very important. In our next topic, we shall look at multiples and factors and primes. To continue with the revision, click this video here and I'll meet you when we discuss factors, multiples, highest common factors, lowest common multiples, prime numbers, prime factorization, all of that stuff. Don't forget to click and subscribe so that you can receive notifications on the latest videos. See you in the next video.